Well, very good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to your Money and Your Life on this first Saturday in December, the first Saturday of summer, the first Saturday of the Christmas season. And we've got a lot to get through this afternoon between now and 2 p.m. Coming up very soon, we have Peter Kell from the Australian Securities and Investments Commission. Their Money Smart website has launched a fantastic financial advice toolkit, which I think is really going to appeal to a lot of people. If I had $1 for everyone over the last 20 years who has said, how do I find a good financial planner? How do I find a good advisor? I would be a millionaire, I reckon. Well, Money Smart has got a toolkit that's going to set you up and set you in the right direction. So we're going to chat with him over the next hour or so. In the following hour, we'll be talking property. Claire Mackay from Quantum Financial will be joining us to give us some great tips on how to manage your finances in the Christmas season. And welcome back to your Money and Your Life on this Saturday afternoon, and a gorgeous weekend it is, the first weekend of summer. We're joined by one of our regulars, Claire Mackay from Quantum Financial, to talk all things money management. And today we're going to have a particular focus on Christmas and trying to survive Christmas financially. Claire, good to see you. How are you?
Good being back, David. Thanks.
Now, some of the things that you need to prepare yourself for Christmas. I suppose the old pre-Christmas financial resolutions help.
I think it's always great to take guidance from Santa Claus and write a naughty and nice list. If you put yourself on the nice list, you'll keep to a budget. You'll have a list of the presents you're going to buy with the amount next to it. Same with the food. So put yourself on the nice list by not doing any of the naughty stuff, and you'll find that you'll be able to share the love and the joy of giving for Christmas, but also not end up financially distressed.
Yeah, so what are some of the key points in managing your money over Christmas that you should be focusing on right now?
Definitely a budget. Write a list. So if you've got a big family, are you going to buy a present for everyone, or are you going to do a Kris Kringle amongst your family with an agreed amount? Or are you just going to buy presents for the kids? Or are you actually going to make presents this year? So, home baking or things like that.
Which is really good. My son one year did, because he's famous for his pesto sauce, did a massive cook-up of pesto sauce, got little fancy jars.
Yum.
And he was every aunt's favourite for that year. They just loved it, and his grandmother loved it and the whole thing. So it goes a long way. You don't have to spend a lot of money, do you?
No, and I think the idea that spending money is a proxy for the amount of care or love you have for someone is something that we've moved on from. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to show that you care.
Yeah. Okay, so set yourself the budget for doing it, and I suppose bring the entire family in on that budgeting as well.
Absolutely. Again, the family becomes bigger and bigger every year with in-laws and more children and the like. So being smart about it and saying, well, we don't need a lot of stuff. But maybe grouping together and everyone pitching in a small amount to get a much nicer present as opposed to lots of little presents which you might regrift during the year anyway.
Yeah. Or buy in bulk. That's what Lib does for all the nieces and nephews. Says, right, I'm going to buy the one present for all of them, and she buys 25 of them, and then that's it, gets a good price.
It also means that no one's jealous. It doesn't have present envy.
A very good point too, and that is an issue at the moment. So managing your credit card at this time, how should we be doing that?
Well, I think the key thing is that if you're going into debt to buy presents, then the people who care about you would be horrified. Yep. So again, that comes down to setting a budget and knowing that when the credit card bill comes in January, you actually have the money set aside to pay for it. There's nothing worse than paying for the rest of the year the debt you incurred for one big meal and presents that people may not.
Because you're paying 20% interest on that as well.
It's horrendous. That's no Christmas present. That's an awful penalty for something that you can actually avoid.
Yeah. And the big thing for people to understand is if their balance gets a bit out of control and they say, okay, I'll just pay the minimum in January to get by or the minimum in February, that doesn't even cover the interest, does it?
No.
So even getting further in a hole, you think you're doing the right thing and paying the minimum, but you're just getting deeper into debt.
Your statement will tell you it'll take you 35 years plus your firstborn to pay it all off if you just do the minimum.
Yeah.
I think the key thing here is if you can't afford it, then the people who care about you would not want you going into debt to buy a present for
Yep.
them.
Okay, I've got this thing of why don't you give the gift of a good financial future for Christmas? Financial gifts and what you should be giving people. And I rang you during the week because I thought if you've got adult children and you want to get them sorted, maybe buying them an hour with a financial planner could be the way to go, or sending them to a seminar or a workshop that financial planners put on. Give us an idea of what's involved in that.
This is a great idea because straight after Christmas we get New Year, and
Yep.
everyone has New Year's resolutions both for their health, their fitness and their finances, and getting ahead of the curve and saying, well, actually this is one that you can tick off by having a meeting with a financial planner or going to a understanding your finance 101 seminar is brilliant. And it's not a present that just lasts for that day or that month. It actually lasts a lifetime because it's those fundamental managing of your finances and having a plan for the future that you get in those sort of scenarios. And that means that the people you care about, your children, will actually be much better off longer term as well.
Yeah.
So if you have an existing advisor, talking to them about what they can do to help you and your family.
Because they'll usually look after you if you're an existing client, won't they? They'll say, look, for your adult kids or a relative, we might do an hour for free or something.
Absolutely. I mean, that's part of our service agreement for all our clients. Their adult children, when they either go from university to full-time work or if they end up in a relationship or starting to get married, part of our offering is that we will sit down with their children for an hour on a general advice to give them that guidance, because ultimately they're going to be looking after and inheriting the family wealth as well.
So what if it's not the adult kid of a client? Well,
So we have an offering whereby people who don't necessarily need detailed advice but want guidance that they're on the right track or things they can do to improve their own situation, we do have a general advice meeting that we offer to anyone who calls us. And again, it's that idea that you don't necessarily always need a financial advisor, but you need a plan.
Yeah.
And talking to someone with a bit of objectivity can maybe keep you on the straight and narrow and give you some small tips that you can actually implement to improve your financial future.
right. So what would, if you like, a health check like that cost?
Yeah, so we call it a financial health check, and for a meeting with me or my senior planner advisor, it's $550.
Okay, $550 for a full financial plan. If you wanted to say, right, I'm going to set my kids up for everything. They're going to get a detailed financial plan of everything they need to know and a financial blueprint for the next 5 years. What's that involve?
Well, we as a firm don't generally do that, but I know a lot of advisors who do that, and it can cost anything from $1,500 up to $5,000.
Okay, all right. The other thing is, and it's amazing the number of people that don't have a will. Now, this might sound a bit morbid, but if you've been on to your partner about we've got to get a will done, give them a will for Christmas. And as a gift voucher or whatever, to either see a solicitor or an online will kit. How much to get a will done?
Again, it depends on the complexity of it, but you're looking around not just your will, but your powers of attorney and guardianships, should you not be able to make decisions for yourself. You're looking at around, again, between the $1,500 and $3,000 mark for a relatively straightforward family scenario.
Okay, so that's a good one to keep in mind. If you want to get really morbid, you give somebody a life insurance coverage. If you've been on to them about life insurance because they just don't want to think about it, and so many people don't, give them a term life policy.
Again, and you actually need them to engage in the process, because they probably will need to go through underwriting and the like. So if they've had too much of a Christmas feast, it might affect their underwriting.
So they've got to fill in the application
Yes,
for whether you're a
yes.
smoker or a drinker and all that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
and be absolutely honest about it.
The other side of things is they might think, well, if you're giving me that, what's the plan after I've signed the paperwork?
Well, yes, yeah. I wouldn't trust Lib, I must admit, if she suggested that to me. What about setting up a savings program for kids to get them into the swing of it? Now, I'm talking again young adult kids or late teenagers.
That's a brilliant one. And a lot of families give cash as Christmas presents.
Yep.
So, again, it's that idea of, do you spend it all? Do you put some of it aside? And a lot of things that we talk about with clients is, if you're trying to encourage people who are not necessarily natural savers, talk to them about dollar matching up to a certain amount, because that's incentivizing them and saying, if you can save X amount, we'll match it up to a certain amount.
Right. So what's the minimum you can put in a managed fund? So instead of giving, your kid's $100 or $200 or $300 in cash for Christmas. So, okay, I've put $200, $300, $400, $500 into a savings plan in this managed fund that is going to grow, and you can keep adding to it if you like on a X amount per month, and that's how you're going to build your wealth.
There's lots of different offerings in this space, and so some funds will have a minimum of maybe $2,000, but some will bring it down to, like you said, a couple of $100, which is great. You've got to be wary of the fees. If you're talking about a small amount, you want to make sure that the majority of it is going to the growth component rather than the overriding fees associated with that investment.
Right. Okay. But what's the minimum investment that you can start with these savings plans attached to managed funds?
There's some really great ones now available with all the new fintech innovation side of things, where you're looking at maybe not a managed fund, but maybe a listed fund, so an exchange traded fund, which has all the 200 Australian shares, and you can go in there for as little as $200.
Right.
And you just you buy one share effectively, and you can just keep building it up, and that's with some great providers as well. So there's lots of ways of skinning a cat in this space.
So give the gift. I say to people, think about it. It's thinking a bit laterally. Give the gift of somebody's financial future and setting them up.
Well, that's
this
priceless,
Christmas,
isn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. Claire, great to see you.
My pleasure.
It's terrific because good suggestions there. Go organise a gift voucher for a financial planner or organise a session for them. Claire Mackay there from Quantum Financial. You're listening to Your Money and Your Life on 2UE Talking Lifestyle.